morning. Welcome to the Clueless Luthier. I'm Mark, and today we're going to start shaping the neck. So I'm going to go over to the bandsaw here and get started. Okay, I've lined out the rough shape of the headstock and this. I'm going to cut off the extra wood, leaving a little bit for finishing on the bandsaw. Today we are going to glue the fretboard on to the neck. I have made some indexing pins using little brads. Got it all lined up. I'm going to take this back apart and we'll get going on this. So I've temporarily put this piece of tape on to keep the glue from getting in the truss rod cavity. And this on. All right. Oh wait. First things first. There we go. I'm going to squeeze out here. There will be more. This. All right. Interesting. Okay, now just make sure I hold it in place well. Add some clamps. It's good. All right, I'm gonna let this set up. Now let's see what this looks like. Let it set up overnight. Looks nice and tight. All right. Okay, good. Unwrap this. Then I have to think about, I really should have shortened this before I cut it out, but I can deal with that. And where is, here we go. All right, actually that'll be down a little bit. And I will start working on the headstock. I'm gonna shorten this off. I think I'm gonna mark the holes here and drill those, pre-drill those before I do the cover. I've actually got to take, I'm going to use part of the top for the cover. And I have not dealt with the top yet, so I have to think about that as well. So I discussed it with the boss, and what she wants to go with, she actually wants it to be symmetrical, so it'll have the seam in the middle, but it should look pretty cool. so now what I'm going to do is well, first I'm going to cut this out to get a start. And then we'll get it cut to shape. Okay, I pinned this down a bit. Left a little bit of myself on it there, you can see. Now we're going to I'm going to cut out the rough shape of it just to get it close. All right, I'm going to sand this down, get this smooth, real smooth here. All right, I have this made. I just realized a few minutes ago, I really should have taken this fretboard down a little thinner. I'm glad I'm not going to put binding on it, because I don't have binding quite, yeah, close, but yeah, that would have been tight. One thing it does do is, this nut, it doesn't, yeah, it might be all right, but boy, that may not be high enough. I may have to bring that up slightly. I can do it, but hadn't thought of that. But anyway, so I've got this cut out. Yeah, it's this side. And I really think that what I want to do, I've been contemplating this, the body's going to be black with the top red, and you'll see, I think, see some of the black when you're looking at it. So I want to frame this with ebony binding. Never quite curved it like that before, and I don't have a bender made for that, but I'll figure something out. What I might do is just heat it up and pull it into this. I guess we gotta be careful of heating it up with that glue though. So I'm gonna go contemplate this. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do, I set this little Dremel table to the thickness of this, loosely. I'll test it real quick on a cut, but I'm going to take this down so that it is the thickness, pretty close, of this, before I try to start bending it. Hopefully make it easier. I marked the width of the binding in, and I'm just going to take off the extra wood down to that point. I'll have to probably sand that off with a rotary. So this is a little bit of an experiment. What I did is, I took this piece of scrap wood, traced out this curve, and cut it off with a bandsaw. Kept this piece. And I'm going to take these, the binding that goes with it, and see if I can bend it using this method with a heat gun. Obviously a blanket isn't going to cut it. I want to make sure is I want the good edge pointing in opposite directions, so we'll go out, whoops, and out, and wrap it up tight. Whoops, careful, Mark. Do this so I know where the ends are. good guess about the middle. All right. Then I took the rubber end off of this clamp. Try and get it on here. Get it started anyway. Okay. Well, let's see. I have more if it doesn't work. Whoop. And okay. Well, I didn't hear any cracks, but that's too loud to know if I did or not. I'm going to let that sit for a little bit, and we'll see how we did. Okay, I got a little bit ahead of myself, and I forgot to film this. I went ahead and put the top binding on, and before I did, I got these angles to match the angles for the next piece. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing down here and work on the angles for these two pieces before I glue those on, and do the same thing on the other side. So I think this is the one I cut. Let me look. No, that's the one I marked. Yeah, it is. So I've got to basically put less than a 45 on this because it's kind of a more open angle, and make it so this meets it appropriately. Okay, now I'm going to get these two pieces glued on. Let's see. Okay, that looks right. Maybe I had the wrong side. Okay, I have all the binding on. I sanded it flat. And now I'm going to do, let me move in here. I've penciled out my logo. And that is right here. And I'm going to use the Dremel to cut that out, and so that I can glue it in. All right, I got it to fit. That actually went quite smoothly. Doesn't always. And I decided this one I'm just gonna super glue in, CA glue. It's probably plenty. Probably more than I need. Where is? There we go. All right, let that set up a minute. And I think I'm going to put the tuner holes in when it's already mounted on the neck. So this is ready to go. All right, I decided to go ahead and get this mounted on so I can start working on the shape of the neck. I will drill these holes all in one shot later. So, use this for a spacer. that's all centered now. I'll let that set up. Let's see. Uh-oh, I screwed up. I got glue on there. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, that one's good. Wonder if that super glue got on there a little bit. Okay. Ah, okay. Alright. A little sanding there. Yeah, glue got on there a little bit. Oh! Let us not drop it. Okay. It is ready for shaping. That's the next thing I do, but it won't be today. So today I'm going to start working on shaping the neck. I covered this up just for protection. So anyway, time to get my rasp working. Okay, I have drawn a center line along the length. I'm going to start out by defining, or trying to define, the depth at each end, and then start working from the corners and around. So here's hoping. Well, I decided that when I put this on, I didn't really pay enough attention. That this fretboard is thick enough that I cannot get the finished neck as thin as I want without endangering getting into the truss rod area and ruining it. I really should have taken this fretboard down about an 1/8 inch. It's 3/8 of an inch thick. I'd be happier with a 1/4. So I'm going to try to remove it. I tried a little bit with the heat gun. That was a failure. So I'm going to take my heating blanket, this, so I can press down on it, and see if we can do it this way. Well, it took a couple different kinds of tries to figure out how to do it. I did use the heat blanket, and it did work. Once I got it going, I just needed to turn the heat up more than I'd started with. So now to start thinning this down. Plus I'm going to burn some calories here, so let's go. So we have both come to the conclusion that we really are unhappy with the flames on this. So we're going to do something totally different. I already videoed how I do it, so I'm not going to do that again. But I think it's going to be a 2-step process to get 2 different colors. But we'll see. All right, I have redone the inlay. It's not my favorite, but the boss approved it. She really wants to have the fire on there. I was ready to redo the whole fretboard, but anyway, and it's reattached. That went really well. Those index holes pins are great. So that's going to be it for this video. I am going to switch gears and move over to working on the body and get that ready. So hope to see you later. Bye.